Alright guys, how's it going? AlphaYGO back yet again, and today I'm bringing you that Invoked Mekk-Knight deck profile. A personal favorite of mine in terms of rogue picks. I think having Alistar for one card combos along with the beefiness of Mekk-Knight is very fun and strong to use, along with a lot of the cool utility cards available in the game at the moment to help break boards and enable OTKs. In my personal opinion, this deck is super fun to try, and I just want to give you my take on the deck at the moment. We are not running Phantasm in this deck, which I know is a very strong card, and if you have access to triple Phantasm, I'd say go for it, because it's very strong and it enables a lot of successful games in my opinion. I'm also proxying several cards in this, and I apologize, hopefully it doesn't take away from the video for you guys, but I just want to get across the information that I want to share with you in terms of my tech choices in this profile. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off our list, we have the man himself, Alistar the Invoker, the one card combos, which is exactly what we need, which is an invocation, and our whole play just orients around having him, and we have multiple ways to access him, so very powerful. Following that, we have the Mekk-Knight package, starting with triple Purple Nightfall. Purple Nightfall is obviously very strong. The fact that it's the biggest one, it tags out to search other Mekk-Knights. We also have double Blue Sky. Unfortunately, this is the first proxy that we had to show off. Blue Sky just searches every other Mekk-Knight, and basically, again, serves as a free body plus searches, and both Blue Sky and Nightfall are very powerful in that regard. Following that, we have the more utility-based Mekk-Knights. We have Red, which helps with monsters, and Indigo, which basically lets us special move, special again, move something like red to pop whatever we want, etc. Very useful in tandem with each other with the Mekk-Knights. Personally, you can run the yellow if you want, but in my opinion, this deck doesn't really hard lose to something like Floodgates. So, and the only Floodgate card out there that really stops this deck, in my opinion, is something like Missing Mine. Missing Mine, of course, can't be stopped by yellow because we can only deal with columns, but again, we run back row hit in the main anyways, so it's not the worst to just run these Mekk-Knights, but if you want to squeeze in the yellow, go for it. Moving along, a personal favorite of mine is Tiny Spirit Shuda. People don't usually run this in this deck, and I, of course, apologize for the missing card. For some reason, I can't find the third one among all my bulk, but nonetheless, I want to showcase the fact that I think Tiny Spirit Shuda is really strong in this deck, where we open it, we special it, we can link it off for the link 1, and use Tiny Spirit Shuda to obviously get rid of an annoying problem, something like Colossus, for example. And the fact that we have a link 1 right here, basically we're almost halfway. We're basically halfway there to having a column set up, which is obviously a big main point in this deck strategy. Moving along, we have triple Ash Blossom. Needs no explanation. Ash Blossom is just fantastic of a card. It's also fire, which lets us get Purgatrio, and Purgatrio obviously being one of the stronger invoked fusions, just to be able to help break a sport, help with decay, and etc. And speaking of amazing hand traps, let's move on to Nibiru. Nibiru is such a super hard block card. It's a light which synergizes with the deck super well, and people don't expect this in the main, and honestly they might just scoop the moment you drop this, right? The moment you drop this, you just feel like you just extend the handshake. So triple Nibiru is really strong. If you want to run Gamma, go for it. I just personally would like to run Nibiru, Ash, and the following, which is double Ghost Spell. People have been telling me their frustration with running Ghost Ogre at the moment in this format, and how it's been underperforming a lot. So I've been trying Ghost Spell, which has utility against Salad, Orcust, to some extent Thunder, and you can even hit Ray in the Sky Striker matchup. So I think it has some useful purpose in this format, and I think it's worth giving a try to see how it is. Attribute wise, it's not the best, but having that level of interaction on your opponent's turn is still very useful. Moving on to the spells, we have triple Meltdown. Obviously, it's the searcher for Alistar, and let's just get this out of the way. Let's get that one terraforming. Very unfortunate, but we run 4 copies of Magic Meltdown, which acts as another 4 copies of Alistar. So we get to see Alistar quite a bit in this deck, which is obviously what we want. And Meltdown is also very powerful, that it just basically makes our fusions always able to go through, which is something that a lot of people kind of miss, but it helps you get your fusions off without a hit, without a stitch. Very strong. Following that, we have double invocation. I think we only need 2. I don't really think you need a third, in my humble opinion, just because like you recycle these over and over. You have multiple ways to get to them. You don't really need the third, in my opinion. In fact, I feel like that just get too cloggy. So I think 2 is just fine. Speaking of that though, we do run the 1 Book of Law, which I'd say is kind of like the one hard brick of the deck, but it's what enables us to OTK if we can't hit our Boral Sword mark. So I think having 2 routes of OTKs in this deck, one where you use Boral Sword, one where you don't, is still very useful because that's our goal of the deck. And only having 1 route for an OTK might be a little bit too linear for a lot of situations. So I think running the 1 Book of Law is very useful. And of course you can switch off the Alistar Link monster anyways, so it's not that bad. Moving on, we have triple instant fusion. Instant fusion obviously is very strong in the fact that we can, again, all these are back row, and back row enables us to set up our columns. Instant fusion gets us something like Thousand Eyes Restrict, which obviously like sets even more columns because you just steal the monster, make it a spell, etc. Overall, very powerful. And we can also like bring out some targets like Invoked Raijin, and we can also bring out things like Invoked Raijin, which enables a lot of other cool plays. So instant fusion is, personally, I'd say 3 is good. We also run 3 Mind Control, which unfortunately we have 3 different rarities and 1 very scuffed up one, but please don't mind that. I just wanted to showcase that fact that Mind Control is very strong. Very strong. Like, it's either going to eat up negates or you're going to get free bodies off it, which you're just going to link off, and you just like dismantle boards like nothing with this card. So I think this card is very, very strong in my opinion. Moving on, we have our back row hit, which is triple Cosmic Cyclone. This could be any other form of back row hit, something like Twin Twisters, MST, etc. I wouldn't, well, maybe not MST, but I think something like Twin Twisters. The reason why we run Cosmic Cyclone is because, well, not only do we want to get rid of back row, since back row can be a hindrance to OTKing, even though it doesn't stop this deck from performing, it can stop us from OTKing, which is our main goal. The reason why I'm running Cyclone is because, sorry again for the proxy, is triple Super Poly. And I felt like if you ran triple Twister plus triple Super Poly, it was just too much cards that required discarding, and Invoked Mekk-Knight kind of needs as many cards to stay in their hand as possible to kind of enable those OTKs, in my opinion. So I think it was more useful to have 3 discard outlets plus 1 card and answers to things. And the good thing about something like triple Super Poly is the fact that since we run something like triple Nibiru, triple Vishuddha, and those cards aren't the best in multiples in your hands, that just gives you free outlets to use as discard fodder. For example, your second Nibiru isn't probably going to do too much, but it's easy Super Poly fodder, which of course engrave, which means you can invocation it off for something like Mekaba and etc, etc. So I think having just 3 cards that require discard outlets in this deck is just fine. And of course, not to mention that Super Poly in of itself, it clears out a lot of threats in these giant boards, and when you bring out the fusion monster, you're already halfway there towards your column plays, and what more can you ask for in this deck? Following that, in our extra deck we have the Almirage. Almirage is obviously very strong. Since the moment of its release, people have been going crazy about utilizing in decks, especially in this one where we can normal Alistar, search off this invocation, linking it off into that Almirage, setting the invocation, having Mekk plays. Obviously, like, and that's just only the surface level of the plays. Overall, it's very nice utility for the deck in general. Following that, we have the Alistar Link monster. Obviously very strong because we get to search off more invocations, we get to search up Book of Law, which enables us OTKs. Overall, very powerful card. Following that, we have just a random utility card, something like Nightmare Phoenix. If you want to, you can switch this out for any other thing, like more Super Poly targets, more Instant Fusion targets, any other utility card. I just like this one because it's a fire, it also deals with back row and whatnot, so I think it's just useful to run. Of course, we run the 1 10E Link monster, which goes in tandem with the 10E play I told you, and of course, similar to the logic with something like Super Poly, we get to break a board while getting half our column play set up. We also run the one Boral Sword. Boral Sword is one of our two OTK routes where we can either go the Boral Sword route or the Book of Law route, and either way we're gaming them that turn once we establish either. Following that though, we have double Mekk-Knight. Double Mekk-Knight, in my opinion, is all we need. We don't really need a third. We also run Perfect Trio. The reason why we run double Perfect Trio is because we aim to end the turn right then and there, but sometimes not everything can go our way, so we kind of need the second one to ensure that we can go for the game again if they somehow survive the first attempt. But again, it's very powerful in the fact that we get to just decimate boards with both of them. We also run a couple of 1-0s of the invoked monsters, which is Caliga, Raijin, and the Earth. The reason for Caliga is the fact that sometimes you can't game them on the spot, but once you bring it out with something like say Book of Law, or you just hard make it, let's say after you fail to OTK, or maybe you're going first and you just want to bring this one out, it's like their plays are really limited to what they can do, especially if a hand trap. So I think Caliga is kind of worth playing for that utility. Raijin is good because it's not only an instant fusion target, but it enables us cool plays in the fact that, of course, it's an invoked monster. And the Earth monster, for if they have an open board and we're going for the Book of Law play, this is what we tag into to secure a game, because it's just 3k straight to the face. And although very small, we also run Thousand Eyes Restrict as our instant fusion target. Of course, we have Raijin as our other instant fusion target, and we can expand on more instant fusion targets, but at the moment I'm just running Thousand Eyes Restrict, because all we need is that 1000 Ice Restrict to just scoop monsters out from the board and put it under it. And that's really strong because you special him, steal the monster, put it underneath in the same column, and you have column plays. And for our super poly targets, we are running something like Starmie Venom. Starmie Venom is just generically just the best one, I think. There's just a lot of dark oriented boards out there. And at the moment I'm running Valley Chimera just because personally I face a lot of Salad, but this could be literally anything else. This could be like Mud Dragon, which is a more generic super poly target, and another instant fusion target. So you have liberty to choose and mix and match what you like from this extra deck. Personally, you can change this, you can change the Phoenix, you can change Caliga, and of course the World's Roar there, so mix and match however you like. With that said though guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll try to pump up more content for you guys. It's been a little rough because I haven't been able to go to locals that much recently, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.